voice matters more than you know. Every time you call iRadio, every time you share your perspective, every time you give your opinion on air, you are practicing freedom of speech. You are protecting media freedom. You are keeping independent radio alive. You are actively participating in the governance process. Many may not realize it, but those calls, comments, and conversations are not just talk. They are acts of public participation, the heartbeat of a free and open society. By speaking up, you help hold leaders accountable, raise community issues, and shape national conversations. Without your voice, the microphone goes silent. Keep calling, keep talking, because when the people speak, democracy breathes.
This is iRadio. When contributing to a topic on the radio, please avoid statements that may incite or promote hate. We encourage constructive points of views and criticisms that aim at providing solutions to problems facing the country. We do not want rumor mongering or information that is regarded as hearsays. We advocate for messages of peace and unity among the people of South Sudan. This is iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
iRadio, for reliable and objective news from across South Sudan and beyond. Tune in to iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. iRadio, for news you can rely on from across South Sudan and beyond.
The Dawn on iRadio.
Yes, a very good morning to you and welcome to the second hour of the Dawn program here on iRadio, a live broadcast from the capital, Juba. My name is Emmanuel Joseph Akile and today is Tuesday, the 23rd of September 2025, 16 minutes now after the hour of 7. Now, before we move on with our program, this is a funeral prayer announcement where the family of the late Camilo Lasu wishes to inform relatives, friends, in-laws and the general public that the final funeral prayer for the soul of the late Johnson Kibo Camilo, chairman of Guriang of the Kakwa community, will be held on Saturday, 27th September 2025, time 1 p.m. and venue his residence, Gudele Block 6. The late Johnson Kibo Camilo passed away on 19th July 2025. He was the beloved father of our colleague Baria Johnson. The Lord gives and the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Welcome back from the break. Now on Friday, the South Sudan National Police Service, with support from the United Nations Development Programme or UNDP, conducted a specialized training for more than 260 officers on criminal investigation. Now, the training brought together police officers from different divisions across the city, focusing on how to strengthen their skills in handling criminal cases. According to the Deputy Director of Community Policing, Major General Zakaria Michael Taban, such capacity building programs are essential for improving investigations and for building a stronger cooperation among the country's judicial institutions. Major General Emmanuel Samuel, who heads Gudele West Division, also added that the sessions were particularly aimed at expediting investigation processes so that cases can move more quickly and safely to the courts. Meanwhile, Major General Frederick from the Criminal Investigation Department in the Northern Division in Juba encouraged the public to play their part by reporting violence or any offenses to the police for timely action.
تكلموا كثيرا بخصوص التأخير في إجراء البلاغ وأسباب اللي بتخلي التأخير، وطبعا الكلام ده جاي نتيجة لتوجيهات السيد الرئيس الجمهورية جنرال سلفاكير ميارديت، وعشان كده المسؤولين طوال قرروا يعملوا ورشة عمل زي ده، وحيستمروا طوال بدعمنا في ورشة عمل، ونبي نتمنى أن المسؤولين دي بيعملوا ورشة مشتركة لهذا من خلال التوصيات بتاعت الورشة ظهرت بعض حاجات تتعلق بباقي أجهزة النيابة والجهات القضائية.
الورشة كان مثمر، كان حاجة كويسة، احنا استفدنا كثير. فإن شاء الله المهارات والقدرات والحاجات الجديدة اللي احنا لقيناها وبنمشي برضه عشان احنا برضه نمشي نشتغل به في محلات الأقسام بتاعنا، نفس الخبرات دي احنا بنشيله عشان كيف احنا نغير الواجهة بتاعت الشرطة، وبالأخص في المجال بتاعت الأمن الجنائي، إنه المتحرين نعم فعلا هم أكفاء، لكن برضه بيحتاجوا للتريننجز في مختلف المجالات.
أنا داري ناشط هناك برا هناك، لو في جرائم بيني حصل أو في ضدنا حصل لازم يكون في تبليغ، يعني ما بس خلاص الجريمة حصل وناس بسكتوا كده، لازم يكون في التبليغ، لازم يجينا هنا في القسم في الأقرب قسم عشان يجوا يبلغوا. الأنف ضد النوع ده وما حاجة بس، وبالذات لنا إحنا كأجندة إحنا قاعدين شنو نستقبل حالات أنف ضد النوع ده كتير، عشان كده أنا ناشد ناس ما يسكتوا.
نعم، ده كان هناك سمينا من بعض من المسؤولين في الديفيجنز المختلفة بتاع الشرطة، وهم بيقدموا تعليقات بتاعهم عن التدريب اللي كان عملوا لهم من قبل القيادة بتاع الشرطة، وسوى من برنامج الأمم المتحدة الإنمائي، وده طبعا المعروفة UNDP، وده طبعا في مجال بتاع التحقق أو التحقيق الجنائي. نمشي لفاصل ومنه حنجي نواصل. صباح الخير.
هل بتفتش على راديو مثالي؟ آي راديو هو جوابك. ليه تختار آي راديو؟ في 5 الأسباب المغنادل.
الثقة والوصول. بيعتبر آي راديو المحطة الإذاعية الأكثر ثقة وشعبية في جنوب السودان، مدعومة بالاستطلاعات الأخيرة مع قاعدة مستمعين مخلصين. حتصل رسالتك إلى جمهور واسع بشكل فعال.
شبكة واسعة النطاق. آي راديو ليست مجرد محطة إذاعية، إنها شبكة من المحطات المترابطة. لم تكن شريك مع آي راديو، سنقوم ببث برنامجك عبر مواقع متعددة مثل واو، أويل، كواجوك، يامبيو، بور، رنگ، ملكال وبالير، وبيضمن أقصى قدرة من التغطية والتأثير.
التواجد الإقليمي. بتمتد بصمة آي راديو إلى ولاية غرب وشمال بحر الغزال، غرب والاستوائية الوسطى، جونغلي، أعالي النيل ووراب. من خلال التعاون مع آي راديو يمكنك التواصل مع المجتمعات المتنوعة والجماهير المستهدفة في المناطق ديل.
مشاركة المجتمع. الشراكة مع آي راديو بتعني التعامل مع مجتمعات على مستوى الشعبي. رسالتك حتوصل للمستمعين في مواقع مختلف، مما يعزز التفاعلات الهاتفة ويزيد الوعي بعلامة تجارية.
التغطية الشاملة مع محطات في مواقع استراتيجية زي الرنج، ملكال وباليد. بتوفر آي راديو تغطية شاملة بتصل إلى كل من المراكز الحضرية والمناطق الريفية. بتضمن شراكتك مع آي راديو الرؤية عبر منطقة جغرافية واسعة.
ما تفوت فرصة توسيع نطاق رسالتك باستخدام آي راديو. شارك أو أعلن معنا الليلة وخلي صوتك مسموع في جميع أنحاء جنوب السودان.
عزيزي مستمع إذاعة آي راديو، لما تشارك في أي موضوع على الإذاعة أرجوك تفادي تصريحات بتحرض أو بيشجع على الكراهية. إحنا بنشجع نقد بناء وآراء هادفة، اللي بتهدف إلى توفير الحلول للمشاكل اللي بتواجه الدولة. إحنا ما دايرين ترويج للشائعات أو المعلومات اللي بتعتبر بأنها شائعة أو أغاويل. إحنا بندعو إلى رسائل السلام والوحدة بين مواطنين جنوب السودان. ده آي راديو، عينك على جنوب السودان.
The Dawn on iRadio.
Right, a very good morning to you and welcome to the second half of the Dawn program here on iRadio once again, and welcome back from the break. You're still listening to the Dawn program. Today is the International Day of the Sign Language under the theme, No Human Rights Without Sign Language Rights. Well, the UN General Assembly has proclaimed 23rd September as the International Day of the Sign Languages, and it is in order to raise awareness of the importance of sign language in the full realization of the human rights of people who are actually deaf. So today is an opportunity to protect the linguistic identity and also cultural diversity of all deaf people and other sign language users, and also to recognize the progress made and the challenges that remain in ensuring quality education for all. So to shed more light on this topic, I'm joined live in the studio by Ben Lowe, who's the National Director of Inclusive Education, National Minister of General Education and Instruction, and Lily Rico, Disability Inclusion Specialist from the Girls Education South Sudan. It's good to have both of you in the studio with me this morning. Welcome to iRadio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Lily, now let me start with you. What is International Sign Language Day, and then how important is it really to you personally and to Girls Education South Sudan program?
Thank you very much. I think to me and to the program, it is a very important day to raise awareness on the need or the importance of sign languages, more especially as we look at the education sector, or as we look at learners who are deaf or the learners who cannot hear at all. It is very important for everyone to understand, to know that sign language is very important. It's a means of communication with the people who are deaf. And as a program, we are an inclusive program, and we do not exclude anybody or any learner. So like today, it's very important that we explore and talk about the importance of how these days it is for us and for the learners who are deaf. And I encourage the listeners, people outside there, if you can do a sign, please help people who are deaf outside there to also follow us with this program today, because it's very important. Everybody has right to communication. Everybody has right. It's part of the human rights for the deaf people. So it's very important that we recognize it today. Yeah, thank you.
Right. And Ben, let me come to you. What does the day really mean to the Ministry of General Education and Instructions, and also to you as well?
Thank you very much. This is yet another opportunity for us to talk about sign language. The Ministry of General Education has undertaken the responsibility to educate children with disabilities generally. And among them are those who have hearing impairment. Now, for children with hearing impairment to learn well, the teachers and those around, even the children, the learners, need to learn sign language. And so it is important that we as a ministry, we would want to see that it is the right of the child with hearing impairment to learn when there is communication between him or her and the teachers. And therefore, this day is very relevant in the sense that we are trying to ensure that people know that sign language is very, very important for our learners with hearing impairment. And for me as in person, of course, sign language as such, without communication, to me, I would be rendered helpless. But then when there is someone who can communicate using the sign language, I think the messages would go very clearly, and it is the right of those children with hearing impairment to communicate using the sign language, which will help them to learn even much better. Yeah.
Right. And Lily, do we have learners who require sign languages in schools, and how many are they, if you can share with us?
Thank you very much. I would like to say that we do mobilize learners with disability generally to school. Then we do identify them at school according to their different categories. So we identify learners who are having difficulty in hearing or hearing impairment, and specifically those who cannot hear at all in that category, or those who are deaf, are 416 across the country who are enrolled. And
in primary or in general, like primary?
Generally, primary.
416,
yes, 416. That's what we have now. And then there are those that are more than 700. Those are having a lot of difficulty hearing or hard of hearing, who might also require signs, like they need of hearing aids, and at the same time they need to, the communication is mixed up. If you want to get the quality of communication, that means you need to speak louder enough. You need to also use sign, and then you just have to use all this in order to communicate to these particular learners. But those are the ones with a lot of difficulty hearing. But those specifically who cannot hear at all, they are 416.
Right, and this is based on the Girls Education South Sudan analysis, or is it like a kind of research that you conducted, or a survey, or it's based on from the Ministry of General Education?
Girls Education South Sudan program is part of the program of the ministry, and we do enroll learners every year. We support the ministry by enrollment or onboarding process that we normally come and discuss here. We do identify learners across the country, and specifically now I take part of leading the part of the disability. So that's the process. We identify those learners, and then we go back to verify the process that was done during onboarding, or that during the first enrollment when the schools open every year. We enroll them, and then we also go back to just do validation, because this is disability or functional difficulties that you need to be very sure of. During the enrollment we do, and then we go back to just to make sure that this learner indeed is having, for example, if a learner is having a lot of difficulty in hearing, and then is recorded as a learner who is having some difficulty in hearing, we do correct that and ensure that this learner is having a lot of difficulty in hearing. So that's the data that I'm talking about. Every year that's what we do.
Right. So what support does the Girls Education South Sudan offer to learners who are deaf?
Thank you very much. We have different programs, different activities that targets learners with disability in general. Like I said earlier, we do mobilization, because we know that people out there think that, for example, if a learner is having a lot of difficulty hearing, or a learner is deaf, for example, the parents or the guardians may think that there's no need for this one also to study. So we're looking at the attitudes at the community trying to, change the attitudes that people have towards learners or children with disabilities, including the learners who are having hearing impairment. What we do is we target all the functional difficulties or types of disabilities. We emphasize that all of them are sent, even those who are on wheelchair, they need to be sent to school. And then while they're at school, we have also different interventions. Like I said, we identify them so that we know, the ministry knows what to do with these categories of the learners that we have. Like I said, we have 416 learners who are having who cannot hear at all. And then all the other categories, that's what helped the ministry to plan or to budget for these specific learners. So the first thing is the identification, and then also today we're here because we know that we have 416 learners who are having difficulty or cannot hear at all. They are deaf learners, so they require sign language. It's a big number, and some are still out. We're encouraging that all the public and the communities to send their learners to school or their children to school, even though they cannot hear. Just send them to school, and then we ensure that they also have a quality education by, as we are campaigning, or we are pushing for sign language training across the country. We are also encouraging that even the learner who is already in class, the teachers, while teaching them, should face, because some of them are reading the lips, so the teachers should face the learners while they are teaching, not only facing the blackboard. So these learners, we also encourage that they sit in front, so that they are close enough to the teachers who are teaching them. For example, those who are having a lot of difficulty hearing, we don't allow them to sit behind, so they have to sit close to the teacher, so that they pick what the teacher is teaching them. And
You're all right. And Ben, what have you done so far as the Minister of General Education and Instruction for the deaf learners? For example, have you trained teachers on sign languages?
Thank you very much. Actually, one of the very important steps we have taken is that we are thankful to our development partners. Light for the World has actually been supporting us by conducting training on sign language at Rumble Teachers Training Institute, and we also have received similar support at the Maridi Teachers Training Institute. It is actually our responsibility as a ministry to see that the remaining teachers training institutions do conduct training of teachers on sign language, and this is very important. Number two, we have worked collaboratively with the Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Welfare to develop a sign language dictionary which reflects the South Sudan Sign Language. And this is one of the materials which is very important that teachers may use when they are learning, when they are teaching sign language in their respective schools. And so we want to promote sign language in every school, so that when the teachers are communicating with those with hearing impairment, the other teachers may even learn from them, and even the children will learn from them, and it will be a sign language communication system that runs across the schools. And that is what we are really trying to do at the moment, and we believe things will work for the better for our children with hearing impairment. We also have to create awareness in the communities, just as my colleague Lily said. Excuse me. It is important that the parents understand that their children with hearing impairment, and even those without, those who are having different category, they have different disabilities, do enroll in schools. And so for those with hearing impairment, we encourage the parents to send them to school so that they may be able to learn with the rest of the other children. It is their right to go to school and acquire knowledge just like other children in our country. Yeah.
And some parents, Lily, may think that it's a waste of time to send their children who have, let's say, who are deaf or have impairment when it comes to hearing. They will say they're wasting their money and nothing will come out of it. So what would you tell them the importance of ensuring that it's a human right also for the children who are deaf to study, to go to school?
Thank you. I still encourage all of us and the parents, the guardians, that every child is equal. Let them not segregate or discriminate among their children. Let's all of us be advocates of people with disability, or specifically the learners who are deaf. So they have potential. They should not really think that way. So we encourage that they send them to school, and the school fees issues is not, it should be distributed equally. So if the other learners are going to school, why not the learner who is having impairment? So let's ensure that we treat them equally. And I just wanted to add on what we do as a program for these learners. We do give cash transfers for both boys and girls with disabilities, including those who are deaf. So that's the kind of support we do. We give those who are in eligible classes, the boys who are deaf in eligible classes and the girls, they all receive the cash transfer. And there are also indirect kind of support like the capitation grants that are given to schools. They benefit from it because they benefit from it indirectly or directly, whereby some schools decide to support these learners with uniforms, with the transport, whatever that they feel they can do in order to ensure those learners are in school. So they put it in the budget and then they're given. So that's how we support them. And also we do referrals. We do referrals for health services, for different services, whereby these learners who are having a lot of difficulty, some of them receive hearing aids and so on. So we do support them while they're at school. So we encourage all the public to ensure that these learners are sent to school. Nobody should leave any child who is having a lot of difficulty hearing or who cannot hear at all at home because they feel they cannot do anything. No.
Right. Bring us about 19 minutes to the top of the hour. مستمع راديو في كل مكان. بنتكلم في اليوم العالمي للغات بتاع الإشارة اللي كل سنة في يوم 23 شهر 9. الشعار بتاع السنة ده: لا حقوق إنسان بدون حقوق لغة الإشارة. وبيعد اليوم ده فرصة لحماية الهوية اللغوية والتنوع الثقافي لجميع الصم وغيرهم من مستخدمي لغة الإشارة، وللاعتراف بالتقدم المحرص والتحديات اللي لا تزال قائمة في ضمان المساواة للجميع. نمشي لفاصل إعلاني ومنه حنيجي نرفع المكالمات. Let's go for this short break and from there we'll pick calls.
Albonain. Always at your service. For all wholesale traders, save more for your people. Wholesale food items available now. Sugar, rice, oil, and more, including cars and beyond. Top quality, competitive prices. To place your order, WhatsApp 09123 03076 or 09123 06078 or visit us at Juba Airport Road. Albonain, always at your service. Don't miss out. Quantities are limited.
Welcome back from the break. ده الوقت اللي فيه نرفع المكالمات. حلوة راديو.
Yes, good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning.
Thank you so much. You're connected to William Nyeposh from Western Bahar Ghazali State. Wow.
William from Western Bahar Ghazali State. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I really welcome the guests in the studio, and I'm very happy with the program of people with disabilities, especially those who have difficulty in hearing. So I would like to ask only one question, and the question goes this way. What is be done to a person who is deaf, a person who is not hearing at all, and at the same time is also blind? So it is a bit difficult for me personally to communicate to such people. So do you have some special people who are trained to communicate to a person who is blind and also deaf at the same time?
All right, thank you very much. سؤال مهم. الموضوع بتاع زول اللي ما بيسمع وكمان زول اللي برضه عنده مشكلة في النظر أو ما بيقدر يشوف. ونواصل ونرفع المكالمات ربع ساعة لرأس الساعة. راديو. Hello, Radio.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
David McGough from Wow.
David, welcome.
Emmanuel, we talk about this. We appreciate those who are making initiatives in South Sudan because many South Sudanese, they don't consider those who have disabilities. But I have questions. Number one, maybe parents have tried their best until their son or daughter have studied, until that one have graduated. But if you go to the advert, the NGO say that somebody whom they want from the position is somebody who is mentally, emotionally, and physically fit. This was not discrimination. And or if they apply maybe in a certain ministry, they will not be considered. Because if you can go and make research now in the ministries in Juba, all the national ministries, you will not get a disabled in such ministries. Is that not discrimination? Number one. Number two, the teachers are deserting all the professional now in teaching because they are not being paid at the right time. There are no services to the teachers. And you are saying that this one will be, there are teachers who are going to be trained. Are they not going to leave the profession? Or do you have another plan that you have already gathered so that they can come and keep these teachers in their profession? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, David McGough, for your questions. Let's pick one more call before we come back to our guest in the studio. Dial 0911-022-986-986. Remember, we're also live on our Facebook page. You can also drop your comment there, and I'll be able to read the comments. For now, we pick one or two calls before we can come back to our guest in the studio. Have 40 minutes now to the top of the hour. اتصل علينا على 11 986 وهذا بيجيبك في استديوهات اي راديو في صباح اليوم. نتكلم في اليوم العالمي للغات بتاع الإشارة أو المعروفة ب sign languages.
This is iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
Hello, iRadio. Hello, iRadio. All right, we lost you there on the line. You can still revert back to us on the same line. Let me come back to our guests in the studio to respond to these couple of questions. William and Magog, both from WOW. William was asking about a person who is both deaf and also blind or visually impaired. What kind of support do you think can be rendered to such a person? Maybe I come to you, and then from there I'll come to Lily
Right.
to respond. Yes, let me start with you, Ben.
Right. I really appreciate the fellow who has asked this very important question. It is a reality that there is a kind of disability that affects a person, what we call multiple disability. And we know that one of these kind of disability is the one called deaf-blind. In this case, the person is deaf as well as blind. In other words, if we don't use those terms, we should say this person has hearing impairment as well as visual impairment. And these two are challenging because the person cannot see the signs. The one who is visually impaired cannot see the signs, and the other one cannot also hear, and that is quite complicated for such a person. But there is already a program that prevails. I'm aware of a specialist who is trying to develop how best such a deaf-blind person can be supported. Actually, one of the ways is to use the body. If somebody cannot hear and someone is trying to communicate, it would be good to use the hands to demonstrate to that person. Of course, that person has to be very sensitive of some areas that need not be touched, and that is a program which is being developed. Actually, it exists a lot. One time when I was in the States, I found such teachers being trained, and it's our hope that in the near future we'll bring such knowledge into South Sudan and start training teachers on how the deaf and those with multiple disability can be educated through that kind of system. So it means that the deaf that child with hearing impairment has to be taught sign language through touching and through using the gestures, because he or she can see. So it will be easier for that one to learn sign language. But then since he cannot see also, this child will have to be trained to read Braille, the system of reading for the visually impaired people. So it will be a combination of sign language and Braille that this person will be trained, and that will improve the communication. So it is quite a bit of a challenge in our situation, in our context in South Sudan, but it is already working out there internationally, so I think we will emulate that in the near future. Now, coming to to our dear caller, Magog, who was asking, who was talking about the employment of persons with disabilities. Indeed, this is a very challenging and very worrying situation. The adverts are not really favoring persons with disabilities, and it is the right of the hearing impaired and indeed any other person with disability to be employed. I think we need to change the narrative. It really has to be done. That awareness raising has to be done. Actually, we have taken some steps. I'm aware of the fact that in the Ministry of Labor, the National Ministry of Labor, this kind of labeling has been taken out. They no longer tell people to advertise that you should be physically fit and this and that and that. That will allow for the employment of those with disabilities. But of course, the other institutions may not be aware, and this requires a lot of awareness raising. And I believe that with time, things, people's attitudes will change, because there are those who think disability is just for those with disability already. The reality is that disability is all around us. Anybody can become disabled, and so it is important if we can pay attention to those who have disability, because we don't know what may happen to us. The other question is about the teachers. He is saying that we are training teachers. Are they not going to go away to greener pastures? I think that is what he was trying to imply.
Right.
Yeah, and indeed, this is a worrying situation. But then I also believe that things will not remain permanent. I think there is great opportunity that things are going to change, The moment the current economic crisis stabilize, I believe teachers will be better off because they will be better paid. There will be a number of other provisions. It's just a temporary kind of situation. I'm quite confident that in the long run, not only teachers but civil servants will prefer to be employed by the government than going private because of the benefit that the government usually offers. When you go for pension, you know that it will be very beneficial for the rest of, you will be getting something at the end of it all.
Right.
Yeah, so this is something temporary. We believe things will change for the better. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yes, Lily, you would like to add something? Because now, especially someone who's visually impaired and also deaf, you earlier talked about 416, but have you come across such situations based on girls' education in South Sudan?
Thank you very much. We do identification, and there are learners that we identify them with multiple disabilities. Learner is having visual impairment and also another impairment or functional difficulties. Some even may have 3 difficulties or functional difficulties, but we have not yet identified a deaf blind learner so far. Of course, the call out was asking what type of support is needed. Of course, this learner or this particular people, like Ben mentioned, they need what we call textile communication, that you touch. So they teach them how to touch this part, and it tells them that this is this. So that is the expertise there, and mostly people who are experts are the one who do that kind of training. And like you were saying, we still want even just the common sign language or the South Sudanese sign language to be trained for teachers. So the expertise of textile, it is happening in other countries, but it's not here. It's a good news that there's someone who is already working on it. And what we do is we encourage even that deaf blind learner should go to school. Let's know about the learner, and let's know how this learner will be supported, because everything depends on data. Everything depends on what is there. So if the learner is there, it will even boost the morale of someone who is working on it to fasten the work and ensure that these learners are supported. Just to add on the issues of teachers, knowledge is rich. So if a teacher is trained on sign language, wherever he goes or she goes, still support or help learners who are deaf. So the training is important, that the teachers need to be trained, and they can even start looking for that, because it's an expertise you're adding to your role. Like the organizations of persons with disabilities, some of them have these lessons for sign languages. So if you are a teacher, you can even just approach them and start taking some lessons, and this will help you and help also the learners with disability.
Right.
Learners who are deaf. Thank you.
Right. We have less than 3 minutes to wind up. I'll give you each maybe 1 minute for your last message. Let me start with you, Lily. On behalf of Girls Education South Sudan, what's your message as we commemorate the International Day of Sign Language?
Thank you. I know that people use different signs, different communities, different states. Let's embark on the national sign language that is out there. We have the dictionary. Let's have the common signs that will help all of us communicate effectively. And I still encourage people to send all those who are deaf and all the other learners or children with different disabilities to school. It is their right. So we cannot say they have rights today when we don't see sign language as important for the deaf. Without the sign, if it is in everybody, in every human, that I have a right, but how does the person who requires sign language say that? If we don't prioritize that, so let's really make sure that everybody to play their part to ensure that sign language is taken very important.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Ben.
Yeah, thank you. one very crucial issue really that affects people with hearing impairment is the lack of knowledge on sign language. And we have seen in several places, for example, in the police stations, some people with hearing impairment are taken in simply because those who have taken them in do not understand the language that they speak. And we are requesting that, we are appealing, even in the hospitals, we see they suffer because there's nobody translating for them, interpreting for them, so that their cases are dealt with. We are encouraging that as many people as possible should learn the South Sudan Sign Language so that they will support those with hearing impairment in whichever situation they find themselves.
Right. Yeah. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ben Low, National Director of Inclusive Education, National Minister of General Education and Instruction, and Lily Rico, Disability Inclusion Specialist, Girls Education, South Sudan. Thank you both for joining us on the Dawn today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right. That brings us to the end of the Dawn edition for today. Do join us again tomorrow at the same time to get the latest on what's happening in South Sudan and beyond the borders. Up next, news in Arabic on behalf of the Dawn team, Paulino Althea, Juan Moses, and producer Diko Di Andrew. This has been Emmanuel Joseph Akile. Do have a good day. Let's meet again tomorrow.